Samantha's laughter mingled with the gentle clinking of champagne flutes as the yacht rocked against the evening tide. The sun dipped low, painting the horizon in shades of gold and rose, glinting off Ethan's perfectly tailored cufflinks and the diamond sparkling on Samantha's finger. She felt a warmth in her chest, pride, love, and a dizzying sense of belonging. "You look radiant," Ethan whispered, brushing a strand of hair from her face. His smile was effortless, the kind that made the world seem right. Samantha smiled back, caught between happiness and disbelief that her dreams were unfolding so seamlessly. "I can't believe this is real," she murmured. Her mother, Vivian, hovered nearby, adjusting the folds of Samantha's gown with an almost exaggerated care. "You've never looked more beautiful, darling," she said, her tone affectionate yet oddly precise. Vivian's eyes lingered on Ethan longer than expected, and Samantha caught a faint, unidentifiable emotion. Interest? "Approval, something else entirely. Mom, do you want a glass?" Samantha offered, masking the twinge of curiosity in her chest. Vivian nodded but didn't answer, her attention drifting toward Ethan as he laughed with friends. The party continued, filled with the gentle hum of admiration, the clatter of silverware, and the soft crash of waves against the hull. Samantha felt a perfect bubble of celebration, unaware that beneath the sparkle of champagne and sunsets, subtle forces were quietly shifting, laying the first stones of tension that would fracture trust in ways she could never foresee. Samantha sank into her chair, the soft glow of the candlelight flickering across the table. Ethan laughed at something her mother had said, but there was a pause. Too long, too deliberate. Vivian's hand brushed his as she reached for the wine, a fleeting touch that made Samantha's stomach twist. "Mom, did you just—" Samantha began, but words faltered. Vivian's smile was calm, practiced. "Just passing the bottle, dear," she said, voice light, almost teasing. Yet her eyes lingered on Ethan with an intensity that Samantha couldn't read. Ethan's own glance shifted briefly toward her mother, a flicker of unspoken understanding in his gaze, before he returned to Samantha with a charming, reassuring smile. "Everything okay?" he asked, voice smooth, deliberate. Samantha nodded, though unease crept up her spine. Candle flames danced across the half-empty wine glasses, casting long shadows that stretched like silent warnings across the walls. She found herself watching every gesture, the tilt of Vivian's head, the soft laugh Ethan directed at her mother, the way their conversation quieted when she approached. Her mind spun with questions, each one heavier than the last. Was she imagining it? Or was there something beneath the surface, hidden behind polite smiles and carefully measured words? The warmth of the evening faded, replaced by a creeping sense of distrust, of emotional currents she couldn't yet name. As dessert arrived, Samantha forced herself to smile and join the conversation, even as the shadows in the room seemed to whisper secrets she wasn't ready to hear, planting the first seeds of suspicion that would grow into a storm she couldn't ignore. Samantha's heart hammered as she approached the glass doors leading to the study. A flicker of movement caught her eye, a reflection in the polished marble floor. There, in the warm glow of a desk lamp, her mother and Ethan were closer than they should have been, hands intertwined, whispered words shared like conspirators. Her breath hitched, disbelief rooting her to the spot. The sound of raindrops against the windows became a deafening rhythm in her chest.
"Mom, Ethan?"
she stammered, voice cracking. Vivian pulled back abruptly, eyes wide, masking panic with a fragile smile. "Samantha, it's not what it looks like." Ethan stepped forward, his charm faltering for the first time. There's an explanation, Sam," he said, voice tight, rehearsed, but Samantha could see it in their eyes. The guilt, the desire, the betrayal, all laid bare. Her hand hovered over her smartphone, camera app open. A thought flared. Capture this. Document the truth. One click, one flash, and the moment was frozen. An irrefutable testament to the fracture in her family. The room felt suddenly smaller, suffocating. Voices of her friends, family, social media all intruded in her mind as possibilities of exposure spiraled. She wanted to scream, to demand answers, but words caught in her throat, a mix of fear, fury, and heartbreak. Rain streaked down the glass, the light reflecting in chaotic patterns, mirroring the turmoil within her. Samantha realized this discovery would not stay private. It would ripple outward, uncontrollable, viral, a storm she had never imagined, and from which there was no turning back. The mansion's grand hall seemed suddenly alien, its polished floors reflecting a storm raging both outside and inside Samantha's mind. Lightning split the sky, illuminating upside-down wine glasses and chairs overturned in the chaos of her eruption. She felt as though every luxurious artifact, the gilded frames, crystal chandeliers, mocked her betrayal. "Explain this. How could you both? Why?" Samantha's voice trembled between fury and disbelief. Her hands shook, the engagement ring burning against her finger as though it had become a brand of shame. Vivian's eyes glistened with forced calm, a practiced mask of maternal concern that failed under Samantha's glare. "Samantha, listen, it's complicated. It wasn't about replacing you or Ethan. There are reasons you don't understand," she pleaded, her voice tight with guilt. Ethan's charm faltered. "Sam, I didn't mean for it to happen, I swear. I love you. This is a mistake. I can fix it," he stammered, desperation creeping into his carefully maintained composure. But Samantha only heard the betrayal, the collision of loyalty and lust, deception interwoven with every syllable. Her chest tightened, her heartbeat thundered in her ears. She saw her life split in two, one side a glossy illusion, the other a jagged reality of manipulation and forbidden desire. The storm outside mirrored the one within her, flashes of fury, torrents of grief, the cold weight of humiliation. She realized the mansion, the wealth, the social adulation, all of it was irrelevant now. The fracture went deeper, to trust and blood. Every glance at her mother and fiancé confirmed it. Nothing would ever be the same. The broken facade was complete, and the fallout had only just begun. Samantha sat in the dim glow of her bedroom, the laptop screen painting her face with cold light. Outside, the night pressed against the windows, silent and indifferent, while her mind raced through every detail of betrayal. She tapped a finger against the desk, formulating a plan that was equal parts strategy and catharsis. No words could undo the humiliation she felt. No confrontation could match the satisfaction of controlling the narrative herself. Social media offered a weapon, technology a stage. She would expose the truth, but on her terms, precise and unflinching. Scrolling through Ethan's past posts, Samantha pieced together patterns, cross-referencing messages, timestamps, and photos. Each anomaly, each trace of guilt was ammunition. She imagined the posts going live, the world witnessing the fracture that had once been private. "I need to be careful," she whispered, almost to herself. "One wrong move and it all blows back on me." Her friend Lila leaned over the laptop, voice low. "Are you sure you want to do this? It'll go viral. There's no turning back." "I know," Samantha said, jaw tight. "That's the point." Each click, each carefully composed caption, tightened the web of exposure. Obsession mingled with morality, cunning with heartbreak. She felt both powerful and fragile, like a puppeteer and a hostage of her own vengeance. Outside, the city hummed unaware, but inside the quiet room, a storm of digital justice gathered. Notification pings echoed, each one a reminder that the world could see everything she had uncovered, and she would make them see. Expansion. Now expand the following chapter of the story. Make sure it has a seamless transition from the previous one and ends in a way that leads smoothly into the next. Strictly follow exactly words count. Here is the chapter. Chapter 6. Gathering Evidence. Word count, 280. Summary. Samantha records messages, takes photos, and pieces together their affair. Psychological tension escalates as paranoia, secrecy, and anticipation consume her. Dialogue. Terse instructions to an accomplice or whispered self-talk. Cinematic visuals. Hidden cameras, reflections in glass doors, shadows moving across hallways. Purpose. Heighten suspense and emphasize meticulous plotting. Samantha's finger hovered over the final post button, her pulse thrumming in sync with the storm raging outside. She had curated every image, every message, every snippet of conversation with meticulous care, enough to shock, enough to reveal, but leaving just enough ambiguity to spark speculation. A deep breath, a silent prayer to herself, and then she clicked. The files went live, anonymous, untethered, spreading like wildfire across feeds, stories, and private messages. Notification sounds echoed through her apartment as likes, shares, and comments multiplied. She watched, captivated and terrified, as the first reactions poured in. A friend of Vivian's sent a message. "Did you see this?" "Oh my God." Another ping, another shocked face in a video call. Samantha didn't reply. She only observed. Inside the grand houses of Ethan and Vivian, chaos blossomed. Phones buzzed relentlessly. Emails were opened. Whispers passed in tight circles, and sudden doubt shadowed familiar smiles. The illusion of control slipped, revealing vulnerability neither of them had anticipated. Samantha felt a strange cocktail of emotions: vindication, guilt, adrenaline, obsession. She had the edges with her finger, heart pounding, as if touching the paper might somehow absolve her of the turmoil. Her mother's voice cut through the tension, measured but trembling. "Samantha, please. You don't have to do this. Think of the family. Think of Ethan. Delete it. Move on." Ethan's eyes, sharp and calculating, followed every movement. "This can end, Samantha. Just stop. Forgive. Forget. We can make it like it never happened." Samantha's mind raced. Forgiveness felt like surrender. Deletion felt like erasing justice. She clenched her fists, feeling the weight of rage and heartbreak settle into her bones. The temptation to relent pressed heavily, a cold hand on her shoulder, whispering that restoring peace might be easier than watching them crumble publicly. "You want peace? Then pay the price of betrayal," she thought, her internal monologue slicing through their pleas. "You want forgiveness? First, face the consequences." Vivian stepped closer, her eyes pleading, almost desperate. "I am your mother. Please, don't let this destroy us all." Samantha inhaled sharply, torn between blood ties and moral clarity. The envelopes before her weren't just paper. They were her statement, her power, her reckoning. The choice was hers alone: protect or punish, mercy or vengeance. Outside, the storm intensified, wind rattling the panes, lightning illuminating the tension in sharp, fleeting bursts. Samantha's gaze shifted from the windows back to the documents, resolute. She would not be bullied into silence. Justice, even personal, demanded a reckoning. The moment stretched, heavy and electric, as mother, fiancé, and daughter stood at the edge of an unspoken line. One step in either direction would change everything. The morning headlines hit like shards of glass. Samantha scrolled through her phone, watching as her orchestrated revelations went viral. Friends and family reacted instantly, their shock and judgment splashing across feeds in real time. Ethan's face, once polished and untouchable, was now splashed across articles questioning his character and integrity. Vivian's carefully curated social image crumbled with every post, every whispered conversation caught on camera, every screenshot shared. In the mansion, phones buzzed incessantly. "Samantha, you don't understand what you've done," Ethan shouted, pacing the marble floors, his tie undone, his usual composure gone. Vivian clutched the back of a chair, voice trembling. "Please, we can fix this." "It's just gossip. It'll blow over." Samantha listened, her hands cold on the glowing screen. She felt a swirl of vindication and unease. The power to expose had been intoxicating, yet watching the devastation unfold carried a weight she hadn't anticipated. Outside, reporters crowded the estate's gates, microphones thrust forward, cameras flashing. "How do you respond to the allegations?" they demanded. "Are these claims true?" Samantha's heart thudded as her private campaign intersected with public scrutiny. Every lie unmasked, every secret laid bare, reverberated through social networks, TV broadcasts, and whispered conversations. She could see Ethan's panic, Vivian's shame, and the ripple effect of judgment radiating outward. The mansion, once a symbol of luxury and celebration, felt like a cage. Samantha realized that justice, once unleashed, could not be contained, nor could the lingering guilt that now threaded through her own conscience. The stage was set. The public had witnessed the fallout. The private reckoning was only beginning. The morning air was heavy with tension as police cars glinted outside the estate, their lights reflected on marble pillars and polished floors. Samantha sat in the quiet of her office, piles of printed social media posts and messages stacked before her, a tangible record of her orchestrated exposure. The weight of consequence pressed against her chest, reminding her that actions, even justified, have legal and moral costs. Her lawyer, A sharp-eyed woman in a navy suit laid out the potential ramifications. Samantha, while your actions exposed wrongdoing, there are questions about harassment, privacy invasion, and defamation. We need to prepare for any inquiries. Samantha nodded, a mix of defiance and unease swirling in her gut. In the courtroom, whispers ricocheted off wood-paneled walls. Ethan and Vivian sat on opposite sides, their composure fractured. Friends and distant relatives murmured, their faces a blend of curiosity, judgment, and pity. Lawyers moved quickly, presenting evidence, questioning witnesses, and cross-examining experts on digital conduct and financial entanglements. Samantha observed silently, feeling both vindication and guilt. Each revelation, each pointed question deepened the moral fog she navigated. She had sought revenge, yes, but now she faced scrutiny herself. Her motives dissected and debated. Outside, the media circled like vultures, cameras catching reflections of anxious faces in sleek black sedans. The mansion that once symbolized celebration now stood as a monument to collapse and exposure. By the day's end, Samantha understood the delicate balance between justice and obsession. Actions meant to right personal wrongs had ignited a chain reaction, legal, emotional, and societal, that would reverberate far beyond any single betrayal. The next stage was inevitable, final judgment and irrevocable fallout, both public and private. The mansion was silent now, its halls echoing only the memory of laughter and celebrations long past. Samantha wandered from room to room, each space a testament to shattered illusions. Her engagement photos lay abandoned on shelves, the sparkle of promise dulled by betrayal. Bedrooms once filled with warmth now felt empty, sterile, as though the very walls had absorbed the tension, the lies and the anger. From her window, the city lights glimmered across deserted streets, reflections of a life disrupted by her own actions. In her mind, she replayed the moments leading up to the viral storm, the whispered conversations, the secret screenshots, the calculated posts. Obsession had driven her, but revenge had demanded a cost far heavier than she had anticipated. Occasional phone calls with her closest confidants were brief, tense, filled with half-spoken truths and stifled emotions. "I thought I was doing the right thing," she murmured to herself, the words dissolving into the quiet night. The echoes of public outrage and social media frenzy lingered in her memory, a reminder that fame and infamy were often two sides of the same coin. Her family was fractured beyond repair. Ethan's career lay in ruins, Vivian's reputation in tatters. Friends had taken sides, alliances dissolved, and the online world had judged without mercy. Samantha felt both vindicated and hollow, a strange duality of satisfaction and despair. She understood now that justice, even when delivered with precision, rarely restored the soul it touched. The world had watched, had judged, had consumed the spectacle, but no one emerged unscathed. Final chilling line. She sought justice with the world watching, but in the process, no one, including herself, would ever be the same. The night closed around her, a silent witness to the irreversible consequences of obsession, betrayal, and the pursuit of retribution.